About a week ago, I bought these 6 chapters of 2 different Monster Hunter mangas off this Facebook Marketplace ad of this random ass dude in a pretty sketchy neighborhood. Now, the title of these 2 mangas separately are Flash Hunter and Orage, made by 2 completely separate artists, so I just started to reread them, and I honestly think that there's a lot of stuff that we can theorize and hope for to come into the main series of the franchise, that being the video games. So to make this video flow better, I'll break each manga into 3 sections when I talk about it. The 3 sections I want to do are cool weapons and the unique hunting styles, lore, and an overall story rating per each manga. I'll be sure to let y'all know if I say anything that's going to be like spoiler related, because I don't want to be that guy, and I honestly think both of these mangas are worth reading in their own right. So that's not the video for you, to do. I'm sure somebody else has a full recap summary of each manga's chapter, but yeah, let's get into it. Being that Monster Hunter Orage was made by the same guy who made the manga and anime series Fairy Tail, aka my first ever anime, I actually loved reading this, but it definitely was not that much of a faithful rendition of the franchise that we know now, but it instead had some amazing quirks and spins that nobody really saw coming. So first things first, have you ever seen a dude whip around some wind element dual blades? No? Yeah, I definitely didn't think so. So the main character of this story has some Kushala possessed ass weapons, and we never get to see light of that in the mainline or even in Frontier, though I low-key think the Tonfas were inspired by this wind dual blade type of flow. I don't see how this could completely work having wind or even earth elemental type weapons like this The Last Airbender, but I think they'd act similar to the way hunting arcs did in MHGU, with wind element being more of an aerial style gameplay that can help send your teammates up to get some mount hints, as well as yourself and things of that nature. On the topic of weapons, in this story we get introduced to the hunting whip, a type of prototype weapon, and it's just as badass as you would expect. Though, like in the manga, I don't specifically think that the hunting whip should come into the mainline series just because it's in the manga. It was pretty ass, to be honest with you. I think prototype weapons should make a return the same way hunters unlock the switch axe in Monster Hunter Tri. You at first know it's in the game, but you have to progress long enough to get access via research, expanding trade routes, and talking to NPCs. So on to our second section. I believe this story is closely related to topics and lore that we will definitely be seeing in Monster Hunter Wilds and built upon. All guild hunters need special passes and permission to hunt, as well as certain hunters who don't respond to that and poach their creatures. And the manga adds a third category to this, that being seal hunters. These are people that can hunt without the guild's permission after getting qualified, almost like glorified and justifiable poachers. Now, for our personal players, I don't think the seal function would be a great feature to have in the game, but in the same way we have characters like the Hell Hunting Brothers that are recurrent NPCs in the franchise. It'd be a cool tidbit knowing there's some badass NPC characters in a league way above your own created character can actually change ecosystems if they willed it, simply by lying to the guild or being honest but they had a good reason. Thanks to the addition of seal hunters, we also get to see how guild knights actually act and how they pertain to the guild, and that they actually catch, destroy, and arrest poachers. They take it very seriously. But moving on to the third section, overall, it's what you would expect from a power friendship battle shonen manga, so I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's cool seeing everyday people getting knocked off by monsters of the world. Even though the main characters obviously got some plot armor, I wish the games would show the offset of monster attacks more realistically to the villagers and the NPCs like Furain borderline getting knocked off by Mazeno and Sunbreak. But like I said, it's a solid read that really shows you the everyday life of a researcher, a hunter, guild knight, even a poacher in a down-to-earth way. And a little tidbit, we also get introduced to packs of large monsters, and we're now going to see this concept expanded on in Monster Hunter Wilds. So Monster Hunter Flash Hunter is the down-to-earth video game-esque faithful adaptation that if you started with the 3rd generation games, specifically Tri, you will definitely get a real enjoyment out of reading this. It was written by Keiichi Hikami and Shin Yamamoto, published in 2014, which is 3 years after Orage was created. So section 1 of this manga will be a lot more tame and mild in comparison to the Orage first section, since Flash Hunter kept it tried and true and didn't really experiment with new concepts, but rather fleshed out what all we hunters know, with 10 weapons being adapted into the story, excluding Charge Blade, Insect Blade, Bow, and Hunting Horde. I would say the only true takeaway from this is seeing what people mean by immersion. This manga highlights what preparation was really like in the old world, and things we don't see much of in the new games anymore. But it's basically like seeing your created character in the video games acted out in a manga form, if that makes sense. Things like paintballs are actually utilized, status effects are more severe. It takes that vanilla hunting experience and paints an even more charming picture. So section 2 of Flash Hunter. About the lore in this, we get to see the relationship between hunter and village in absolute full effect, as well as monster sieges and attacks on villages, which is just as exciting as you would hope for. The protagonist of this story further explores major cities we hear about throughout the games and different generations, like Dundorma, Lochlak, even Poke Village, which is just as beautiful as you would expect, drawn in manga form. So leaving it at that, just expect the most vanilla experience of Monster Hunter, but you isekai yourself into the game to get to experience things through a hunter's lens, as the world expands with dozens of places to explore, defend, and learn from. In the story, there's plenty of drama within the morality of hunting, the relationship between hunters and regular people, and how scholars fit into the mix, and how monsters actually act. Flash Hunter is easily a 10 out of 10 monster hunting experience that highlights the importance of hunters, while narrated by an actual hunter who's growing and exploring the same way our playable characters did, interacting with people and other races. I think this manga's main taking point is what type of quests could happen in the real world. For example, in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, you're traveling with your caravan on an open sea, and then you're suddenly attacked by Gormagala, and you, the hunter, have to fight it aboard the ship. In Flash Hunter, you're traveling to Poke Village, and then suddenly your whole cargo is attacked by a pack of Blongos, and the hunter has to defend it. Everyday nuances that just make sense in the world of Monster Hunter, things that I'd like to make a return in the series, that don't need to be set up and forced so hard to be cinematic, like Zora Magdaros, if you catch my drift. With maps starting to open up, I think it'd be cool to have little tidbits where you're traveling or going out on expeditions and local monsters attack you without it being a monster's introduction scene, like Baroth in the Wild's Power Race, in that fiasco in world. As I sort of touched on before in the Orage section, I'd simply love to see more real-time world events with monsters, not having to be one-off quests that can sort of feel like slogs to get through. TLDR, read these mangas, experience them firsthand, keep an open mind, and tell me what you think about them and what you think the games should adopt. This YAP session is actually considered an accredited college course, so make sure you subscribe to collect your college credits and leave a like so our university can grow. I got a few ideas to get out before Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, so stay tuned. Y'all have a blessed one. Make sure you drink some water, brush your nasty ass teeth. Much love, and I'll see y'all soon.